And we're back. Cal and company find themselves in the inner concourse of Camp McCarran Airfield after making a pit stop to turn in a few contracts that Cal had been given by one of the majors. After turning those in, Cal, Veronica, and Boone decided to spend a little time exploring the premise and came across another ranking officer with some less than ideal interrogation tactics trying to extract info from a Legion legate that had been captured and had strangely been taken alive. Now Cal has set himself the quest and task of finding adequate bedding, as it is late at night and he is very, very tired. So, Boone, question for you. These are, for lack of a better term, your people, or you were at least once affiliated with these people. Is that whole interrogation stuff standard? Or is she just a renegade? Because it's a little dodgy.
What is it?
Well,
Yeah.
I was hoping that you might have something to add to the conversation. And you seem to be staring me down. So what is it you need?
Hey. Did the Colonel send you? I was hoping he might have changed his mind.
What? I do not know a Colonel. And I have no clue what you're talking about. But I happen to be looking for work and may be intrigued enough to assist you on whatever endeavor it is that you are inquiring about. What are you wondering if he changed his mind about?
My husband, he's a ranger, and he got murdered by a pack of fiends. Goddamn savages laid his body out to rot. Brass
Damn.
won't say it to me straight, but they mean to leave Esteban out there. I can see that plain.
That seems a very strange protocol to take. Although, given the current situation and apparent issues that you, not you specifically, but your organization has with these fiends, I can't say I am terribly surprised. It seems like they are way in over their head. Granted, I took out 3 of their, shall we say, big targets, thorns in their sides, with very little issue. So, you could say I'm in a particularly special position to handle fiends and potentially go out and retrieve Esteban for proper burial rites. Sorry. But yeah, that is a long-winded way of saying that it is very weird that they don't want to retrieve him.
Colonel says he can't spare the men to bring Esteban back home. And
Rough.
the fiends, they put all kinds of mines and traps around his body. Snipers, too.
I do have a less than stellar track record on mines and traps. Pretty good track record, though, as snipers. Or at least ones that have had their brains addled by disease. So, it's a coin flip as to whether that'll be a bad thing or not. Anyways, you are You are tugging at my heartstrings. I do feel for you. Not to bring up painful memories or anything, but I am a little curious as to how he passed. That might help influence my decision. If it was dodgy circumstances or heroic, might influence me one way or the other.
He was out on patrol. Bunch of drugged-up fiends attacked them. Esteban laid down cover fire while the others fell back. One of the men saw him get shot. He didn't die, though. Not then. They tried to go back for him, but there were too many fiends and they had to pull out. Damn savages chased them halfway to McCarran.
Damn. That is quite admirable that he laid down his life for his fellow soldiers. Alright. I really do sympathize for your loss. And I will see what I can do about recovering him.
Mister, I'd about given up hope. But you've got to be careful. I don't want anybody else dying on my account. Esteban's body is laid out between some of the buildings, east of the Repcon headquarters. At least that's what his squad mates said.
Good to know.
There's an NCR position just north of there. It's on the way.
Okay.
They should be able to tell you what the situation is.
Probably less than stellar given the NCR's current track record in the Mojave. At least by my experience. No offenses meant. But yeah, careful is kind of my general goal. Not necessarily always the actual end result. Oh, you people just leave money laying around.
Evening.
Fools. But I also don't want to steal it and then all of a sudden have a bunch of angry armed soldiers accosting me. It's not exactly what I have in mind for my night. What time is it, by the way? 22:40. A little bit late. Alrighty. Ranger Morales. Private Morales has asked me to find and retrieve the corpse of her dead husband. His body is apparently being used as a lure to draw in NCR troops and slaughter them. Better keep a lookout for traps and snipers. Body is just east of Repcon HQ. I should take it to the troopers camped on the north side of the railroad. Provided those troopers have not been wiped off the face of the Mojave. Alright. There's more people I want to talk to. But I think it best that
Wish I
these
had a
people
first
be,
recon guy looking after me.
well, make friends. I think that would be best suited on a full night's sleep and breakfast. Can I not just... I will be top bunk. You get to fight over whatever beds are free. I will see you in the morning. Good morning, Boone. Good morning, Veronica. I hope you slept decently and had a good breakfast. Why do you all like to point? What are you pointing at? Yes, it is a door? Slot machine? Are you pointing at the grieving
Hey.
widow? That's rude. Very, very rude. Anyways,
First recon's at Camp Forlorn Hope. Now we've got a chance to hold it.
mild out-of-body experience there. Anyways. Where were we? Ah, yes. I had a pretty good breakfast myself. Steak. Some water. Water and steak. Not necessarily my favorite combination, but you know what? It's better than starving and being dehydrated.
Sounds like we're running Prim now. I'd still rather take my leave at the
Yeah,
strip.
yeah. All you people care about is gambling. Hello, doctor.
If you're looking for a quick stitch, I'm your man.
Not quite. And apparently,
Goodbye.
you have very little for me. I was actually looking to see if you have work. I'm always down for the odd job. For restitution, of course. Alrighty. You must be the cook. Based on your current attire, your place is a budding trash heap, to put it mildly. You really need to clean up.
Listen, asshole, I know you're not really an NCR health inspector, so you can cut the restaurant critique routine. And I want my 50 caps back, because I looked it up and there ain't no disease called colorectal implosion syndrome.
Beg to
So
disagree.
I paid you to look the other way for nothing.
Also,
Wait,
you
you're not...
confused me with someone else.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry. You look just like... Never mind, sorry. So what can I serve you up?
Well, I think you can serve me up a little bit of, spending a little time cleaning up your restaurant diner area. Because it's not a pretty sight. But you said that there was a health inspector bothering you? I'm mildly intrigued. Maybe, more than anything, you'll give me a discount on food if I were to take care of that for you.
That's nothing. You just look like the health inspector who stopped through for the yearly inspection a couple of weeks back. I was hoping I wouldn't have to wait another 11 months to see his crooked ass to get my caps back. Ah, well. Anything I can get you?
Sure. What do you got?
Oh, yeah. You can order up anything you want. As long as it's corn or beans.
My favorite.
Just kidding. Haven't you heard? With a few shipments from home and a little variety, the troops are getting restless for some quality grub. You can
Okay.
only do so much as a chef with just corn, beans, onions, and peppers.
I mean, you can do, I would imagine, quite a bit with those. Those are pretty ubiquitous in a lot of food. But I get the feeling, ever so subtly, that you might be trying to suggest that there might be ways I could assist. Of course, for a small stipend or fee, I'd consider it.
Well, we haven't had any quality meat in months. Everyone in the camp just eating beans for protein. It isn't pretty. Some of my kitchen machinery is broken down too, so we've been eating mostly raw vegetables. And
That's
I'm
a little
desperate
sad.
for spices or seasonings. Anything, just something for the general mood around here.
Okie doke. I guess let's start down your shopping list of sorts and start with protein. Where might you suggest I would find that? I'm aware of Crimson Caravan. I think there was a supply service somewhere down south area. Might be mistaken. But what are your preferences or suggestions?
It doesn't need to all come from the same source. There are a bunch of different vendors around who sell meat. Fitz, the Nashes, Crimson Caravan. We've never really tried to go out and organize deals with merchants to supply our food.
Why
Already
not?
having an overstock of food, we haven't needed to. But we really
Fair.
need some good old red meat on the menu soon. So I'm willing to divert some caps in their direction if they're open to supplying us.
Oh, okay. Fair. Nash's. That, I think, is who I'm thinking of down south. They were in Prim, I believe. Oh, and speaking of Prim, think there's a couple safes I left behind there that would be ready for me to peruse the contents. Which is fitting, because I have to go down that way anyways to turn in that bounty to Randall. Everything is pointing that way, isn't it? You did mention broken down equipment. I fancy myself a bit of a handyman and pretty adept at repairing things. I could certainly take a look. Are there specific parts, or is it just generalized maintenance?
Here's the list. We've been scrapping together quick fixes to keep it running for months. I think it finally crapped out and needs a full overhaul. It's the goofy machine behind the counter in the corner next to the stove. I'd be much obliged if you could take a look at it and get it fixed up.
Will do. And it seems like a long list of parts. Any suppliers that you work with that might shave a few caps off?
I don't know. Try the various traders around the waste. Or the pawn shop in Westside might have some parts.
Not exactly a pawn shop
I've heard
type.
of a place called House Tools you could check out. It's an old factory on the north side of Vegas.
That does sound
Just
my
a word
type,
of warning,
my
though.
speed.
I hear no one who goes in there comes back out. Could be traps, crazy robots, or who knows what's in that place.
Robots a little bit less so. I guess I've only had very limited dealings with... I have one weird robot that's been following me around the desert. He's got a cowboy face. That's neither here nor there, though. Doesn't really affect you. But yeah, robots are a strange anomaly, shall we say. And I think you mentioned something about spices as well. Do you not have a garden or some sort of farming operation that you could source these from?
The Crimson Caravan would probably be able to arrange a regular shipment, but I don't know of any spices known to improve mood. Hell, we have a whole research department. One guy's even set up in the main terminal building. They're the ones who ought to be looking into it.
I can check with them. I'm aware of a few herbs that might do towards, how shall we say, mood altering for a more positive effect. But yeah, spices, not so much. I guess that covers your shopping list. Anything else?
What can I do for you?
Well, I guess that pretty much covers it then. I will look into all of that for you and be back at some point.
Come back soon now.
Yep. My recommendation is by the time I get back, I would clean up your
If you need anything, just
establishment.
give me a holler.
I don't anticipate that anytime soon. Never mind, it's just a soldier. Food processor. Let's take a look. Jury rig? Lack the skills to jury rig the machine. Darn. What do we need? Of course not. It is a miracle the NCR is not overwhelmed and driven out of the desert. Meat vendor list. There's a few different vendors who sell snacks and meat. You might try Fitz. He has a small shop with a couple other merchants. Ruby Nash and Prim, yes. Has some interesting items. Lastly, Crimson Caravan should be able to handle a good amount of supply for us. Try and convince them to trade for some of our overstock, if you can, because he wants to save caps. And to fix his processor, I would need 2 pilot lights, 2 pressure cookers, 2 conductors, 2 fire hose nozzles, 4 fission batteries. Oof. That's a lot. 2 steam gauge assemblies, 2 sensor modules, scrap metal, 5 of them, and then 1 pot. Well. Yeah. I mean, probably find all of that at some point. But that's still a lot. What is our current goals? So we need to do We have to get up in this general vicinity. Alright, and... Oh, that's where... Alright, so that's where the ranger's body is. Well, I have to head that way anyways. Towards, Prim and everything. So, I mean, just cycle down that way anyways. So that's fitting enough. And then... I have to touch base with them for a few reasons. And the clinic, I have to let them know about that sniper. But yes, Crimson Caravan has been on my list since Good Springs because of Ringo. I think he still owes me some money for saving his hide back there. Additionally, they might be able to handle some of these supply issues. This area we have yet to be and explore. And I am curious. The NCR needs you strong. Do not eat irradiated food. I mean, that's just general, good advice. Not exactly the easiest thing to do in a nuclear wasteland. But I appreciate the attempt. People of New Vegas, this is your friend. He fights for your freedom. You should maybe take the whole, I don't know, helmet apparatus off. Give a face to their saviors. Because that isn't exactly a welcoming face. Hello, what do we have here? Pretty depressing setup by the looks of things.
Hey.
Oh, interesting. Hello.
You look like someone in need of a reliable supplier.
What do you got in mind?
For you, just the basics. Come back when you're a little more seasoned and maybe we could talk about other options. Bad business if someone hurts themselves using your products, you know. Gets all kinds of unwanted attention.
I see. Dealing under the table, by the sounds of it. You got anything to sell me, at least?
Take your pick.
Alright. Ooh. Got some, fancy stuff. Alright, nothing too special there. No. Nothing I would want to use. Nope. Sure, I'll trade you. One cap for one cap. Oh, 308s. I think I have a fair amount of that. Well, let's take a look. Is there anything I can sell you? Maybe I want to hang out of that. I don't know. Something I have to think over. Assault rifle. Chinese assault rifle. That one's 107 and 13. You can have that one. I do like that. So, I have 150 rounds. I don't think I need more at the moment. Anything. Let's see. Do I have... Nope, nothing to really sell there. Ant meat. Ant nectar. I only have one. It's not terribly heavy. Anti-venom. Yeah, I have a lot of food. It's all red roach stuff. Not exactly my cup of tea, so we'll give that to you. Also, take those. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. Oh, I don't remember having that. Okay, well, cool. have it. Nonetheless. Medics has come in handy on a few occasions. You know, come to think of it, selling him a bunch of drugs might not be the smartest move. He's giving me a little bit of a sketchy vibe. But here we are. I'm getting 186 caps from him, and I get to keep my metal spoon.
Give me a shout if you need anything else.
I cannot promise that will happen.
Later.
Because I want to limit my exposure to this place. Seems rather sad. What do we got up here? Nothing fancy. Oh, just a supply database. Don't care. Computers are a bit above me. Alright, boys and girls. I think control tower to touch base with whatever their names were. The people testing spices, herbs, whatever that was that the cook told us about. And then I think we maybe make our way north and then back south. Yes, I do like the sound of that. NCR Trooper, you bring democracy to this land. Whatever. I mean, there are worse alternatives to a poorly managed bureaucratic monster of the NCR. The first one that comes to mind would be the slightly more well-managed Caesar's Legion, with their whole capture people and put them into slavery or forced bondage. Not my favorite thing. We really have to go back through the building, out the rear entrance, to get to the control tower. The NCR is nothing but an organization of inconvenience. And I've about had it.